that talks about Arsenal, and actually we're not in two dissimilar positions today, right? Because listen, there's a reason why I'm on your channel today, right? There's a reason, and that is because AFTV have removed me from their platform.
Well, I mean, there was a super chat here for you, Mo. So, I mean, you might as well answer it then. Fantastic addition, it says here. Already, it's a great podcast. It's a big loss for AFTV. I can't believe they still have not bothered to explain this. We're all with you, Mo. You are in a great place. So go ahead, bro. Say what you want to say.
Look, Aaron, thank you very much. And listen, I'm not going to go into too much detail right now. I want to make sure that when I speak about this, I do this. And as I've always done, people that have watched me on AFTV know that when I try and speak level-headed. I don't run and rave, you know, as I try and suppress that as much as I can. So I'll speak about this properly and comprehensively. And that will be a long video. That'll be a long podcast, you know, and I'll choose where I do that because I want the tone to be right, you know, on that, because it means a lot to me, what's happened to me and the reasons behind it. But what I would say, just in terms of that parallel between Mohamed El Neni and me, look, I was doing something for a particular organization and I spoke out about Palestine, or in fact, what I did, I called out AFTV for their response to me and my coverage of Palestine. Now, what's happened there is that they've cut me off. They've said to me, that's it, you're gone, and I'm no longer there. And so the reason why I'm drawing this parallel between me and Mohamed El Neni, right, is because I don't have super high expectations of any institution or any organization where I expect them to come out and actively back the cause. Yeah. So with Arsenal and Mohamed El Neni, I would have loved it if they came out and said, we fully support Mohamed El Neni and we fully support the cause that he's fighting for, and our hearts and souls are with Palestine as well. I would have loved that, but I don't have that expectation. All I expect of institutions is don't suppress. When someone is being brave enough to speak out, just don't suppress them. And to me, what Arsenal did wasn't a suppression. It didn't go as far as what I would have loved. It wasn't active support, but it wasn't active suppression. It was in that acceptable middle ground for me, because I realized that, you know, ultimately they do need to keep their sponsors sweet, or that is a priority for them. I'm not saying that that's what I would have done. As I said, I would have loved it if they'd done it differently. The parallel though with me and AFTV is it was active suppression, and that is what has happened. When I called them out on their active suppression, they had an opportunity, obviously, to turn around and say, "Hey, we got it wrong," and you know, sorry. But instead, they've chosen to double down on that active suppression and now exile me. They just don't want that smoke in a way, because I'm not one to not speak out about things. And the point is, you know, what I find, just a couple of things that I find a bit ironic about it, is that Arsenal Fan TV, the whole business model is built on people like you and I talking about the team that we love with no holds barred. Robbie often uses that analogy about this isn't North Korea, you know, implying that he's not a dictator. He's acted very dictatorially with me. And actually, you know, he hasn't had any sort of nuance in allowing me, or he hasn't appreciated the irony in saying to people, talk about Arsenal, but when he's on the receiving end of it and someone's talking about his fan channel, all of a sudden, that's it, you're exiled. Imagine if Arsenal treated people who talk on AFTV the way AFTV have treated me when I've spoken about AFTV. We'd all be banned from the ground. And the other thing is, look, this is my first time on this on the Arsenal Lounge with yourself, right?
Yeah.
If I do this for 7 years with you, right, and I invite you to my house, I invite you to my wedding, I back you physically when someone steps to you, I back you verbally when people criticize you and your channel, and all of that has gone within the last 7 years, yeah? I would expect that if you and I have a serious falling out, you'd still have the decency to say, do you know what, thank you for everything you've done for my channel, but we're parting ways. And the fact that even that hasn't been done, I think it shows a real lack of class.
Bro, you've brought it up, so I'm going to ask you the question, because I'm interested, right? You know what's going on. What was the reason given? Because is it just purely that is the involvement maybe with the likes of your Talk Sports and, you know, or you know what I'm talking about, higher up the chain? Has someone somewhere said to them, look, you can't be doing this, or there's going to be issues? Because why is it okay to do Black Lives Matter, for example? They're still kneeling before the games. Why is it okay to talk about other important issues, humanitarian issues. What's the problem with this? What reason have they given you?
You're asking me to give you the reason. I haven't been given a reason.
So he hasn't said to you, look, we can't do this because of such and such.
No, listen, what's broken the camel's back is the fact that I called them out on what they've done. Now, I've had a lot of private conversations. This has been going back for many, many years, yeah? Now, what's broken the camel's back is the fact that I called them out. And this is what I find really, really hypocritical. This is what the channel is based on. We call Arsenal out. We call out the owners. We call out the CEO. We call out the people negotiating the transfers. We call out the players. We call everyone out. We call out the fan groups. We call everyone out. No one skips the criticism at Arsenal when things upset us. But now when I've called them out, that's it. But listen, I'm not going to offer a reason on their behalf. That's for them to tell people like you and I. Well, they should at least be telling me that in no uncertain terms, this is why. But for me, the way I understand it, based on the timeline, is because I had the audacity to call them out on their suppression. Now, I'm going to pass that responsibility over to AFTV and Robbie. They are the ones that should be explaining their reasons. And I think that when you look at the collective views that I've had on that channel over the last 7 years, we're talking about the tens of millions. I think they owe it to those people that have invested their time watching me on their platform to just explain why I'm no longer there. So
I would have thought they would have called you up and had a private chat with you and said, Mo, look, this is the reason. And at least maybe you could get your head around it a little bit and try to say, okay, there is a valid reason here and there, but nothing is being said to you. And that's what I find it difficult.
We'll nip this conversation in the bud now.
Yeah.
I basically, I called them out. Robbie's taken exception to it. He's messaged me telling me that he's disgusted by my tweet. And then I've said to him, let's talk about this. And if you can explain to me if I've done anything wrong, I'll apologize. Obviously, I don't think I've done anything wrong, but that's it. Cut ties. He does not want, that's it. Doesn't want anything to do with me off the back of that. And I think, it's funny to me because I have literally, I'm not a fighter. I don't try and put myself across like I'm sort of a gangster or whatever. I haven't been in a fight in years. When times got rough, when people were stepping to Robbie, I was there out of my comfort zone, not looking to hide that I don't really fancy myself in, like, when it comes to getting into a fight or whatever. The last thing I want to do is turn up to, my work environment the next day with a black eye. But I just don't think it's right to do that to a friend, where you kind of just vacate your loyalties as a friend. Now, I just feel, really disappointed by the fact that they haven't had the decency to look at things on balance and say, do you know what, you've backed us 100 times and you've called us out once, and to say that actually, you know what, you shouldn't be treating someone like that. But it's on them to respond to this. It's on them to offer their explanation. And my last messages to Robbie was saying that I'm happy to talk anytime.
Brilliant. Mo, listen, thank you so much for clearing that up. I mean, look, you're getting a lot of love in here. Everyone's got your back. There's a lot of people in here who support what you're saying. And mate, I stand with you on that as well. Look, I just want to make it clear from our stance as well. We're against any type of sort of thing against humanity, any sort of atrocities, any sort of, we don't want it, whether you're Hindu, whether you're Jewish, whether you're Christian, whether you're Muslim. It's about, doing what's right. And we can't stay silent in such matters. We need to learn from the past. We need to learn from what's happened in history. So, well played to you, mate. And I've got utmost respect for you for standing your ground. A lot of people are easily led by social media and, being on a fan channel or YouTuber and not think about their moral standing. So respect to you for doing that.